Hello, 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 my beloved souls. Sorry. Hello, 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 my beloved souls. Thanks for joining me. So, my beautiful divine feminines, I wanted to tap into your energy for this weekend and see what goodies and deliciousness you have in store for this weekend. It's been a really powerful week. I know I've been seeing a ton of signs, so many synchronicities about the things that I've been manifesting. I have had my spirit guides coming to me in the physical realm in big, big ways. I mean, big, big ways, to the hawk that was flying above me only at the beach yesterday while there's a whole beach just flying above me, to the ladybugs that keep showing up around, to the beautiful moth that decided to share her morning with us yesterday. There's just so much going on. So I wanted to tap into the divine feminine energy and just see what was happening. So I'm going to pull a card from the Work Your Light deck, Priestess of the Light, the Divine Feminine Oracle, and here we go. Break the chain. That's amazing. Many, many in the collective, not just the divine feminines, but many in the collective have been called forward at this time to start breaking these chains, right? We're breaking ancestral patterns, we're breaking karma, we're healing our maternal and our paternal lineages, right? So there's a big call right now with this full moon energy, right? Because full moons are about releasing. We just had the full moon on the 22nd in Aquarius. So full moons are about releasing and revamping and revisiting things and reevaluating things, right? And so as these things are coming up, these patterns, these behavior patterns, maybe things that are just ingrained within our culture, right? You grow up in a certain neighborhood and you guys always just do a certain thing. But many of you are starting to see now the dysfunctionality of it, right? You're starting to see that, like, just because that's the way it always was doesn't mean that's the way it should always be. And just because that was okay then doesn't make it okay now, right? And so these shifts are beginning to happen. And so many of you are doing the breaking the chain of ancestral patterns, healing, and rewriting your future. You're taking your power back. You're reclaiming your sovereignty. You know that you are the author of your book, right? You're the CEO of your company. You are the captain of your ship. And so even though many of us, right, grew up in these neighborhoods or cultures or even families where, like, there was like a poverty mindset, or you just kind of accept it, like, oh, well, they always had diabetes, so I must get diabetes, or they always had Alzheimer's, so that must be my, future as well. And you're realizing now that that doesn't have to be your future, that you can literally change the script and not take on that behavior, not take on that dysfunction, not take on that dis-ease and illness as your truth. And you're finding your power and you're breaking patterns. And you see the cave here, it's a very, very solitary and lonely process at times, right? We go within ourselves to look deeper and to start to find answers. And that's a journey that you have to take alone, right? Many of you are in the hermit stage of your dark night of the soul, where you're just having to figure all this out, and you're walking around in the dark and you're just needing to have faith. And it's ugly and it's a little scary at times, and it's confusing because you don't know what's going on. You kind of feel like your life is falling apart around you, but it's not. It's the fact that, like, these things are coming up, these things that were ingrained in us, these things that were taught to us, these things that were given to us from a space of fear, to be shifted, to be like taken away, to be cleansed out of our system. And sometimes that process doesn't always feel good, right? You gotta dig in with a scalpel and cut that tumor out, right? And it may not feel good during the surgery, but it's gonna feel damn good once the shit is out of your system, right? So that's this energy. Let's see what else they got for you. Powerful stuff. Divine Feminines. Powerful stuff. That was two cards. All right. Akasha. Your guidance is divinely guided. I love that. I love that. And we got Dance with Life. Do something to change your energy. Let's talk with the Akash, right? The Akash is our book of life, right? It's called the Akashic Records in some cultures. It's called the Book of Life in other cultures. But at the end of the day, it's the recordings of all that has ever been. Every thought that's ever been thought still exists, right? And every timeline or time frame that we can imagine in our human framework is still there. And so sometimes, and many of you are getting this, right? You're getting access to your Akashic records. You're getting access to the parts within you. Here we go with the ancestral patterning again, right? That need to be shifted. Where was it in my lifetime or in my past lives or within my lineage that this was picked up so that we can heal it, we can shift it, right? We can lose parts of our soul on this journey as we go through different traumas and things. If you've ever been abused, if you've ever been sexually assaulted, right? These are things that take our power away, right? And so you have to get to a point where you reclaim your power. And so I've done like soul retrievals with different shamancas, which I've been so grateful for. I've done soul retrieval for myself because I realized that I had lost my power along the way. And whether this is conscious or unconscious, like I was a child when I was first sexually assaulted, so obviously I wasn't consciously giving my power away. But once I got to the point where I realized that at some point there was something going on, I took the responsibility and the onus on myself to start to do the work to dive deep and to go back to start healing my own self. And in that, I started seeing the patterns and behaviors of different things within my family. And I started seeing, like, all right, there's a pattern of like abuse, like physical abuse. There's a pattern of verbal abuse, whether it's like, the women being abused, and the women in my family are really strong, but we all have really fucked up relationships, right? Really strong women, except when it came to like the one-on-one with the heart, right? So that's something that I had to be shifting, right? Like feeling empowered about who I am as a woman and my sexuality, but being told by society that I shouldn't be, right? So like very cavalier, very not give a fuck, very sex it is what it is, and very much like a man in that sense. People like just didn't understand it, right? So that I'm like walking around conflicted, like, well, I feel empowered, like no one, like, how is it okay if he does it, but I can't do it? But then I'm being judged for doing it, but then I'm being praised for doing it, right? So then we all go through these things, and we all have this stuff that we're picking up. So it's like the rules that you're taught as a woman, and the rules that you're taught as a black person, and the rules that you're taught as a child, and the rules that you're taught and what your role is supposed to be as a mother, and what your role is supposed to be as a girlfriend, and what your role is supposed to be as a wife, right? And like you have all these things that are put on you that you pick up along the way, right? And as you're going through life, and the load is getting heavier and heavier and heavier because you're just picking up all the shit that the world is giving you, telling you who you need to be. And then you get to this point where you realize you're not feeling good, right? And you're starting to look at life and you're like, I don't like this. And just because that's what y'all are doing doesn't mean that that's what I want to do. You start shifting things. And so now some of you are going deeper, right? And as you're going into that healing, you're looking, you're tapping into these energies, right? You're getting insight, you're getting these knowings, these downloads, and you're not really sure where they're coming from, but you feel them. And so you know it to be true because you know something about whatever that truth was that you were taught just didn't feel right. It was like me when I was going to church, growing up in church, and basically being taught that like women are secondary, right? And it's okay for all the bad stuff that's going on in the world and for me to have to deal with all the bad stuff and be suffering because, God loves some of his children more than others. And I was kind of like, I don't get it. How can a perfect, all-loving being pick and choose which kid? Like it did make sense to me, right? Totally turned me off church. Did not understand it. Did not understand it. Did not understand it. But we can use the Bible or really any spiritual context to validate or invalidate what we're doing in life if you're not looking for yourself, right? So I started having to read the text for myself, right? Because it just didn't make sense to me. The things that I were being taught did not make sense to me. It did not feel right. When I prayed and when I felt what I felt with the Most High, it did not make sense to feeling less than, to feeling unloved if I didn't do it right. Like it just didn't make sense to me. How can this being of pure unconditional love only love me if I'm okay or am I in the right outfit or I'm hanging out with the right people? Like it just did not make sense to me. And so as I started diving deeper and deeper and deeper into spiritual texts and started diving deeper and connecting with my team of light and started really just asking the Most High, like, Just make this make sense to me. Like, if this is what it is and I'm confused, please check me. But if I'm on the right track with this and I just feel like you love me no matter what, because that's who you are and that's who I am, then I just show me that I'm on the right track with that. And I've been on this track for a long time and I haven't found out yet that I am not loved. If nothing else, I've found out even more how much loved we are, like how big and how vast and how deep it is. And I didn't know it was that serious. Like, I thought it was like a superficial human love. It was conditional. It was if you wore the right outfit, if you went to church a certain amount of times. Like, I thought it was a very conditional relationship. And then once I realized that it wasn't this fickle, fragile human thing, that it was delicious and divine, and that I could work with the Most High and angels and spirits and live my best life and be who I am freely and really enjoy myself and really enjoy the people in my life and not feel bad about that and still have a really good life and still get to help people and to have things just growing and growing and manifesting. I was like, why did I not choose joy before? Like, what the hell was I waiting for? What was I waiting for? Right? So we get to this point where, like, you're breaking the chains, and it's gonna, I'm telling you, when I started going through the dark night of the soul, one of the many, it was not like oh, I'm doing a spiritual awakening, I'm gonna come out on the other side, I'm gonna be so good. No, like, I was crying and I was sick to my stomach and I thought my chest was falling apart. I literally went to the emergency room because I thought I was having a heart attack. Thought I was having a heart attack. I went through it physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Got broken. A lot of other people in the spiritual community, light workers, people that like resonate with me were going through it. We were getting shattered, right? Leaving just every part of our beings broken so that there could be no more bullshit left, so that only the light could be there. There was no more hiding. There was no more hide and seek. There was no more pretending. There was no more acting as if you did not know. No, that you know. And now you get to do something about it. Or you get to stay in your suffering. You have free will. It is your choice. Or you can do something about it, and you know that you can do something about it because you're seeing that you have the power to do something about it. One little step, divine feminines, is all it takes. One person to make the choice to change something in your family is all it takes. And it will radiate out in every direction. 7 years, 7 generations forward, 7 generations back. As you're healing yourself, you're healing everyone around you, divine feminines. And you're doing big, big work at this time. Big work. Oh, did I get to this? Dance with your life. Look, have fun. Have fun with it. Like I said, the dark night of the soul isn't all great, but it's so freeing at the end when you get to take all the baggage off. You get to take all the baggage off. And while you're going through whatever it is that you're going through during your awakening and you're freeing and you're healing, like, remember to have some fun. Remember to love on yourself and to give yourself that same self-care, right? The care that divine feminines are great for giving out to the world. We nurture, we cater to, we show up for, we serve, we love everyone else. And then we forget about us. Start with yourself, right? Refill your cup so that you have the ability to fill the other cups around you. But you can't give what you don't have. Don't forget that part. All right, I'm going to pull a Divine Feminine Oracle. We'll see if we have time for Priestess of the Light. Maybe not. Beautiful team of light here with the Divine Feminine. Showing their power. Big healing going on, ladies. Big healing. The heat wave up here. I'm sweating. Ooh. Thoughtful, the poetess. I love every inch of my body, and I love the women in my life freely. See, wasn't I just telling you? You need to remember to take care of you, right? Like, take care of you, especially during this time as you're going through all this healing and during this, like, dark night of the soul and this awakening, whatever is happening. It is vital to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. I mean, getting some rest, staying really, really hydrated, like trying to just eat foods that are just light and are not heavy at this time. You know, like fruits, vegetables. I'm not a dietitian. I'm trying to tell people how to eat, but literally, like, just honor your body because we're all intuitive eaters. So if you really listen to your body, it's gonna be like, I don't really want that, and yeah, I could really go for that. And it's the difference between being like, I'm just in the mood for some like, I don't know, Doritos to like, no, like I feel like I need tuna. I feel like I need broccoli. Like you know and you feel it, right? So start tapping into your energies right now and really, really just honoring every part of yourself, divine feminine, and honoring your nurturing, mothering, healing energy that you naturally have and receive that from the other divine feminines in your life right now, right? I know it says women, but I want to, it's the divine feminine reading. Like focus on that divine feminine energy, right? Really focus on that nurturing, loving, creative, like safe energy because that's who you are as well. And you deserve to give that to yourself before you can give it to your community, right? Always. Let's see what else. Ooh. Ooh. Emoja, that's my girl. The goddess of all that flows. That is my girl. Look at her. I am an ocean of creative energy. I give birth to what exists within me. You see? You are the divine feminine. You are creative. You're nurturing. You're giving birth, right? You house all this, right? It's you that gives birth to these beautiful creative ideas. You have them coming in, right? Coming in, coming in, coming in, and you're nurturing it. You're catering to it. You're feeding it. You're keeping it warm. You're keeping it safe so that it can be manifest in this world, right? So right now, you just gotta flow and you're going through a huge transformative time, right? Water, right? You see her, all this mermaid energy. Water is about emotions, right? So we're tapping into our emotions during this time. And again, many of you are in hermit mode, right? Many of you are isolating yourself or have been isolated by the Most High so that you can go through this. Don't ever think of isolation as a punishment. I had that conversation with someone recently. Isolation is a gift, right? Because we need to tap into our own energies and we need to trust ourselves and learn to go within. So isolation is a whole gift. It's either protecting you from those around you that you may or may not be aware don't have your best interests at heart, or it is showing you that the power lies within and to learn to start trusting the sound of your own voice instead of externalizing everything. I know. All right, I'm gonna pull one more card. Should we do? We're gonna do Priestess of the Light, and then I'm gonna wrap this up for y'all. Running my mouth, running my mouth. I love it. Telepathy, middle of the deck. Oh, and precognition. Okay, so some of your psychic gifts are coming up. I know my third eye has been on fire, and I've had a lot of clearings in my solar plexus. Right, solar plexus, our power center. So I've been doing a lot of healing. My third eye been going crazy, going crazy, going crazy. The visions I've been getting have been really intense, fun, but really intense. Oh, hold on, I just bent the card. All right, Team of Light. Let's get one more for the. No, we're not doing that. One more. We're not doing half a book for the beautiful divine feminines for this Friday. Yo, they really want you to have 3 cards. That's hilarious. 3 fell out the first time, and I picked it up because I was like, I'm not doing that. And 3 fell out the second time. So evidently, you need 3 cards. Wisdom, sacred breath and sound, circle of eternal joy. Let's talk about it. Wisdom, learning, joy, art, music. Brilliant. Number 29 on the card, that reduces to 11. Learning, joy, art, and music. That goes back to this energy of dance with life, right? As you're going through everything in your life, you have to lighten up and have a little bit of fun, right? Sappho, look at her again. You see the poetess, you see the lyre, right? Isn't it called a lyre? I think that's what it's called in her hand. The music, right? Once you just breathe with life, right? And honor these processes that you're going through and really just like see all the beauty around you, you're gonna start tapping in more. Look, look, look. And for many of you, you're twin flames, right? You see the swans that down there, the 2 twins, all that love energy, right? Nurturing each other. There's so much beauty around you. So some of you are really going to be tapping into your musical gifts. Some of you are going to be getting messages through songs. Your angels and your guides are going to be contacting you through songs. So you might start hearing certain songs or repeat or a certain tune that's like following you. Like it just like seems like you can't get away from it. Tune into that, right? If you're seeing like certain shows or just like a certain ad, and I'm not talking about like you search for something on Google and then the algorithm starts throwing stuff out there. I'm talking like you're looking at YouTube, you see a video and like maybe there's something in the background or you hear a sound and the next thing you know, like you're in a store and you overhear like someone says the same word. Like you're gonna start seeing signs and synchronicities, and for many of you it's gonna come through music. For many of you it's gonna come through music or some type of other thing that's very artistic and brings you joy. But for a lot of you specifically, it's gonna be music. Look, sacred breath and sound. Here we go again. Dolphins, beautiful. More musical creatures, them and whales. Life force communication. And so I love that, especially because we have telepathy, right? And precognition come out in the splitting of the deck. So for those of you that are again getting your third eye open, right? Many of your psychic gifts are starting to come online. Dolphins are super, 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 super psychic and super helpful and super loving and super playful and super protective. You hear stories all the time of dolphins like having saved humans, right? Like let's say a human's like in the water near a shark and dolphins will like circle around the human and like get them to safety. They're beautiful creatures. And dolphins as well as the whales are here like incarnated specifically to help the planet keep the vibration high because humans have been doing so much. So for many of you, you've been maybe thinking about or started like taking breath and sound seriously. Maybe you're listening to like Tibetan singing bowls or you're like doing meditations. She has, oh, looks like she has the energy coming out of her hand, right? So that's clairtangency. I want to say, especially with this communication energy that's coming in, to listen to some binaural beats, right? YouTube has a ton of them. Meditative Mind has a ton of them in and of itself on that channel for your throat chakra, because again, communication is about our throat chakra. Um, where else? Your third eye. Anything else? All right, and your sacral chakra, because of the creativity and the artistry and the music. So, sacral chakra, throat chakra, and third eye are becoming activated, cleansed, cleared. Do meditations if you can to do it. Foods help, sounds help, colors help. So sacral chakra will be the color orange, blue for your throat chakra, indigo for your third eye, right? Eating grounding fruits, right? Sweet potatoes, lettuces, onions, things like that. Like things that keep you really grounded will be good for the sacral chakra. Blue foods for your throat chakra, blueberries. Although I don't know about many blue foods, but blueberries help your throat chakra. Herbal teas. So just being like, ah, right, will help open it up. For your third eye, I would try to sit in the sun if you can. Around sunrise, around sunset, really decalcifies that whole area, starts to activate it. You'll start seeing beyond sight, and you'll start to get a little bit more visions. It's kind of intense and fun. So there we go. And circle of eternal joy, timelessness, dance of life. I love that. I love that cloak. She looks so mischievous. Like, and she just has this look on her, like, I see you. Like, it's just, that's all I get from this card. Oh, it looks like a hawk is on top of her head. Amazing. Again, had a hawk with me yesterday. I love it. I love it. I was losing my mind at the beach yesterday with that hawk flying above me. I was just like, I love. You would have thought that I was prey, although I knew that it wasn't a I knew why he was there, right? I knew we were having a whole moment, but I was just like in awe with how close he was and the fact that he would not leave until he caught my attention. So I like literally stopped what I was doing, looked, and realized that he was there, and then was like, "All right, carry on, carry on." So for you, with the circle of eternal joy, the dance of there we go, dance of life and dance with life. Get dancing, music, art. Things that bring you joy, being in water, swimming with the Umoja card, maybe going on a retreat, maybe you've been debating whether or not you should just like take a day trip or go for a hike or just go to the woods and get some like spending time in nature. Like these are things that are going to be really important for you at this time as you're clearing this energy because you're doing big, big work, Divine Feminine. You're doing big work, but it feels like it's getting easier for you. Like I feel like it was kind of deep and it was kind of heavy, but you're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I feel it because as I'm going through the reading, it's getting lighter and lighter and lighter, and then her just ending here with this little mischievous look, like, "Yeah, I did it." You see the freaking moon behind her is huge. She came out. She came out. I love it. I'm here for it. What else we got? I love it. Break the chain. You're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. You're doing it. You're doing it. You're coming out. And I know it's heavy. I know it's not always easy. Start paying attention. Start tapping in. You're on the right track, right? You're on the right track. You're hearing these things for a reason. You're getting the confirmations. And for many of you, the confirmations have been coming through in music. For many of you. Start paying attention. You start hearing a song, start seeing a song title, right? You watch a movie, maybe you start hearing something. Ask your guys. I always ask them whatever it is. If that is my answer, give it to me 3 times so it's clear. I don't want to mistake it to be my ego sense just trying to force the answer that I want to have happen. No, show me a sign 3 times so that it's crystal clear. I'm not that smart, God. Make it clear for me. You know what I mean? And then we take it from there. And it's dope and it's fantastic and it's amazing. All right. I love you all so very much. Have an amazing weekend. I'll see you next week. Later. I love you. God loves you. And the angels surround you. Sorry. Later.